I am Gary Wilcox, 40, and currently married to Catherine Wilcox, née Kelmer, 36. I am a corporate executive, and she is a school teacher. We have 2 children. John is 14, almost 15, and Candy is 12, almost a teenager. They are my reason for breathing. My wife, Kate, not so much anymore. We were in the living room. I was trying to read the news on my tablet. My wife, Kate, said, "Gary, we have to talk about something." I knew what the talk was going to be about. I just did not know the actors or their places on this stage. I put down the tablet and looked up. "What did you want to talk about?" I left out the normal dear that was almost always added when we were talking. "It must be something serious if you say it in that tone of voice." She must have sensed that I knew something. Kate cleared her throat. "I don't know. This isn't easy. How can I say this so you won't get angry?" "Just say it," I replied. "Yes. Well, I ran into Jack Simmons last month, and you know that I was dating him when we met. Anyway, I got to talking to him. Well, we got to talking and decided we were going to go to his hotel room. We were intimate, and we've been intimate at least once a week since then. It doesn't hold any significance in our marriage, and when he leaves, it will end." "Let me get this straight in my mind," I said, trying to keep the anger out of my voice. "You and the jerk who was hitting you when I first saw you are now intimate buddies? Is that what I'm hearing? And you're also telling me that you plan to continue being intimate with him until he leaves? You don't have to be so crude. It's not going to change anything at home." She seemed oblivious to my obvious attempts at controlling my anger. "That's probably true. You said you saw him first about a month ago? Well, the impact on our marriage started then. Because since then, every time I try to be initiate, you have found some excuse to turn me down. I am not even getting a mercy fuck. You have to have your head so far up your ass that you can't see that. I knew you were intimate around almost as soon as you started. You changed overnight from a loving wife and mother to a cold, heartless bitch that started arguments with me and screamed at the kids for no reason. Didn't you wonder why the kids stopped asking you questions or even talking to you? Why do they go to their bedrooms as soon as they come home from school? Why they don't come out until dinner or until I come home? Did you think about any of those things? I was on a tear now. You understand that while I have acted like a wuss for almost all of our marriage, I was just attempting to please you. You have 2 choices now: get out of my house or eat shit and die. What's it going to be?" Kate had started crying about a third of the way through my tirade. When I gave her the ultimatum, she jerked back as if I had slapped her. "Why would I leave? You are here and the kids are here," she replied. "That's right, and we are going to stay here, but you are not. I may be a wuss, but I will not endure an unfaithful wife in my home. And if you fight me on custody when we get to court over the divorce, I will tell the court, your family, your friends, and the other teachers at your school all about you and the asshole. Now go start packing. I will go rent you a U-Haul. Oh, don't forget to leave the car and house keys, credit and ATM cards, and your engagement and wedding ring before you leave." "I am not leaving. I am just trying to be honest with you." She was practically hyperventilating now. "Listen, you are wrong on so many levels. The house is owned by my parents and both cars are in my name only. If you leave with one, I will report it stolen. I will not let you live with my children in a house with an abuser, whether it is physical, mental, or sexual abuse. The kids told me that you introduced them to the asshole, and the way he looked at Candy made her very afraid and uncomfortable. John wanted to step in front of her to protect her. If you fight for custody, I will have my lawyer put them on the stand. What's it going to be? Are you leaving or dying? It's your choice, but nothing in between." She was nearly hysterical now. "I don't want a divorce. I'll end it. I'll call him right now and tell him it's over. I'll do anything to make it up to you." "You finally got something right. It is over. Our marriage was over the first time you took asshole to bed. The custody was over when you had the gall to introduce your lover to our kids. Your happiness with me was over as soon as you decided that he was worth going to bed with. I got up, went to her purse, and dumped it on the kitchen counter. I took the house and car keys off of her key ring, opened her wallet, and removed the credit cards, the ATM card, and the health insurance ID card. Kate was still in the chair in the living room when I got done. I handed her the empty purse and told her that all of her personal shit was on the kitchen counter. I turned away from her and went into the bedroom. I opened the closet and started to put all of her clothes on the bed. I went back to the kitchen and got several heavy-duty trash bags and started to fill the bags with her shoes. She came into the bedroom and saw what I was doing. "Stop, Gary. Please stop. Why are you doing this to me?" "We took a vow. We stood up in front of our friends, our families, and the church people and promised to forsake all others. You seem to have forgotten that." I pointed to the clothes. "This is stuff. This is nothing. This can be replaced, but you can't uncheat, can you? Let me ask you something else. Was he using protection? Also, if he wasn't, were you? You know you stopped BC pills years ago. Do you have a bun in the oven? One other thing he may have given you, have you been to the free clinic to get checked for a sexual disease? If you gave me a little present, that will come out in court also." She gave me a startled and very scared look. Kate's mouth opened, but no sound came out. I'll take that as a no. I turned and walked away. I met Kate just like I said. We were in high school, and as I was walking home one spring afternoon of my senior year, I heard a guy behind the house I was walking by shouting, "I am going to kill you. We are not breaking up unless I say so." Then I heard what sounded like a slap. I went back to see what was going on, and I saw Kate cowering on the ground, her blouse ripped, and Jack, the asshole Simmons, had his hand in a fist and was ready to punch her. I am not a stud, never was, but I had played a few sports, so I wasn't a 98-pound weakling either. Jack had not seen me yet, so when I said, "Jack, if that arm is not at your side and the grip on this lady is not released, I will personally rearrange your face and teeth," he, by reflex, let her go and turned on me. I quickly motioned her to run away from there. She was clear, and Jack was coming at me. I held my hands at my side and let him have the first swing. I ducked, and he hit the top of my head. He screamed as the pain traveled up his arm. I grabbed that arm, twisted his hand, and forced him to his knees. I said in a very low voice, "When I let go, I better see nothing but elbows and shoe soles as you run away. You had also better leave that girl alone, or I will be back to find out if you really have shit for brains, understand?" He nodded. I let go, and he took off like the ground was on fire and coming after him. I went back to the front of the house, and Kate was standing there. "Thank you." I was trying to tell Jack that I was breaking up with him because of his jealousy. He started yelling and hitting me. "Thank you." I told her that I had warned him to leave her alone. Then I said, "If you need help, or if he starts to bother you again, come and get me. I see you in school almost every day, so know that I will be there for you." Then I playfully added, "If you don't know it already, I am Gary Wilcox, damsel rescuer extraordinaire. Who fair damsel might you be? Allow me to present you with this cape to cover your person. It appears that you have suffered a clothing mishap." With that, she looked down and saw her torn blouse. Her industrial strength bra was showing. She got all red in the face and all the way down to under that white bulletproof-looking cloth. "I'm Catherine Kelmer. My friends call me Kate, and I will take that coat. Thank you again." She put my jacket on and pushed the sleeves up about halfway so that her hands would show. She was small in stature, probably 5'4" and maybe 110 pounds. She has beautiful blue eyes and a sort of brownish blonde hair. I found out she was a sophomore and was a transfer in that year. We walked to her house, and she asked me to come to the door with her. Once there, she kissed my cheek and thanked me again. I collected my jacket and went on my way. The next day at school, Kate saw me come in before homeroom and latched onto my arm and dragged me over to meet her school friends. It turns out that she told them what had happened and they needed to meet the hero of that play. After the introductions, I saw Jack walking down the hallway with his arm in a soft cast and a sling. He was with a couple of his cronies, and when he saw me, he beat a hasty retreat. I found out later that that blow to the top of my head had broken a finger and sprained his wrist. He stayed away from me, and as far as I knew, away from Kate for the rest of the time I was in high school. I graduated and went into the service as an electronics warfare specialist. My job was to maintain and repair drones. I served my 3 years and did not get stop-lossed. I had taken some general college courses while in the service, so when I was discharged, I enrolled at the local state college to get a business management degree. If I had the plan right, I would get my BA in 3 years and my MBA the next. I ran into Kate at the college. She saw me and waved for me to come over. I did, and she grabbed me in a hug. She asked if I was out of the service and what I was doing on campus. I took her to the student union building and got us some drinks. We caught up with each other. Kate told me that Jack had left school shortly after the start of their junior year. She explained that she had not enrolled in college right after she graduated, so she was a freshman. I told her that I had just started college and was using my GI Bill benefits so I would not have big debts when I graduated. I explained my major. I asked her what her major was going to be. "I'm studying to be an elementary school teacher. I love kids and think that I can help them to learn," she added. "I was very lucky. I earned several scholarships, and they even let me defer them for a year. I won't have student loans to repay either." The talk went on like that for about half an hour. I had a class to get to and realized that I had not eaten the lunch that I had been heading to. It was worth a missed lunch to talk to Kate. I saw Kate the next day and asked for her phone number. When she gave it to me, I asked if she would go to a stage play with me the coming weekend. She said she couldn't, and then gave me backstage passes to the play. She laughed and said, "I have a second lead part in the play. Please come as my guest, and I will introduce you to the cast and crew." I called her and talked to her a couple of times. The play turned out to be very good, and Kate was great. I thought that she would have done a better job with the female lead than the lady who did it. Kate laughed and said maybe, but the lead was the director's girlfriend, so there was not a chance she would get that part. We started to date on a regular basis, not every week, but we only missed because of my schoolwork for the rest of the school year. When the spring semester was drawing to a close, I informed Kate that I was enrolled in 2 summer courses. She said she was going to be working at a summer camp with elementary school-age kids. Kate asked me if I was planning on dating someone else while she was away for the summer. I responded that I was in a committed relationship, and while I had not asked for reciprocity, I hoped that my lady friend felt the same way. Kate looked a little sheepish. "I have not been committed to you. On the weekends that we did not do anything together, I occasionally went out with other guys. Never more than once with the same guy, and I never turned you down for a date. I did not think you wanted a commitment like that." "Okay, I guess I can understand that. The only time I did not ask you out was when I had to study for a test or work on a paper. I'm sorry I did not make myself clear. Let me ask you this. Do you want a committed relationship with me?" "I'm sorry, Gary, but I am not ready to do that. If I was, it would be with you," she replied. "Okay, now I know where I stand. I won't bother you again. If you come back to college in the fall, enjoy your college experience. It just won't be with me. Have a nice, enjoyable summer." I turned and walked away. During the rest of my college career, I saw Kate go through guys like they were a date of the week club purchase. It seemed that she almost made a point to parade the newest, best boyfriend through the student union when she knew I was going to be there. I had some occasional dates, but for the most part, I studied. When I wasn't studying, I was working as a volunteer with the local veterans transition group. We helped returning veterans adjust to civilian life. I graduated with my MBA right on schedule and was hired by a local company as a section leader of a different city's sales force. My military background, my grades, and my progress in college all helped me get the job. My military background also allowed me to spot the people who were working for the company and the slackers that were just collecting paychecks. I was moving up the local corporate ladder at a quick pace. My social life was not so hot. All of the women in the office tried to set me up. I turned them down or went on a date. There was never a second date with any of the ladies. One of the secretaries, Laura, set me up with a great girl, a local second-grade teacher. Laura promised that she and her fiancé would also be there. It was to be a dinner and a play at a local playhouse. I said I would go on the condition that this was the last date she set me up with. Besides, I said, I like to eat, and I like live theater. Laura and her fiancé Rob showed up. They brought Kate in tow. She took one look at me and started to turn and leave. I got up from my seat at our reserved table and said, Kate, if you don't want me here, I will leave. Laura and Rob are your friends. Stay and enjoy your time with them. Then I left. Boy, oh boy, did I catch hell the following Monday morning. Laura bitched me out one side and in the other. She called me everything short of an axe murderer. I have had tamer-ass chewings by some of my drill sergeants. It seems that after I left and Kate quit crying, she explained that she had screwed up and broke up with me in college. After Laura calmed down, I told her, no more blind dates, none, never again. Then I told her my side of the breakup. Laura was surprised at the different versions. She did say that we both agreed that Kate did not realize that I was committed to her. I felt bad and was disappointed in myself for my actions. I finally got up the courage to call Kate's parents' house. I wanted Kate's number to call and apologize. Kate answered and I almost hung up. I swallowed hard and said, Catherine Kelmer, will you allow me to apologize for being a clueless male? When I broke up with you, it was because I was hurt. I did not mean to hurt you. I thought from what you said to me that I was a convenient date. You did say that if I was busy, you went out with others. I was rambling now, hardly stopping to breathe. Please forgive me for causing that hurt. I am sorry about last weekend, but when I saw that you were going to leave, I felt it was better if I did. Your friend Laura let me know that that was the wrong thing to do. It won't happen again. I am accepting a transfer back to the home office and back to our hometown. As you work here, and I will be there, we need not see each other except when you visit your parents. Goodbye. I hung up before she could say anything. About 30 seconds later, the phone rang and a laughing Kate said, You are indeed a clueless male. I was afraid to commit when we were dating. I knew you were not seeing others. I knew what you wanted. I was afraid. Those guys I paraded in front of you after we broke up were to make you want to get back to dating me. There was never a date with them. They knew I was using them to make you jealous. That really worked well, didn't it? I asked Laura to set me up with you, and then when I saw you, I chickened out. When you left, I was crushed. She finally slowed down and took a breath. I am on a 1-year contract with this school district. Next year, I will be teaching 2nd and 3rd at your old elementary school. You can't get rid of me that easy. Then she giggled again. Would you like to try to connect again? I would like to try to see if the feelings I ran away from and the man I compare all others against are still there. I want very much to date you again. It will be only you unless we find that we have moved on. I was stunned. I was silent for a very long pause. Aren't you going to say something? Okay, yes. Go to hell. Anything. Then she giggled again. I finally came to my senses. I am totally stunned at how this whole conversation has gone on. I think I would like to see if there are any feelings there. Would you let me cook you dinner this Friday night? It won't be real fancy, but I am a pretty good cook. I would like that, she answered. What time, and should I pick up anything? Give me your address locally and I will pick you up at 6. If you want something alcoholic, get what you want. I don't drink much, and often when I do it upsets my stomach, so I have quit. Is there anything you can't eat? There was that giggle again. No tofu, skunk, rattlesnake, or turkey bacon. No cooked cabbage, no cooked spinach, and absolutely no turkey hot dogs." She continued, "I really like almost anything, and I will try anything once. Just don't go overboard. Think of this as just a continuation date after a 3-year attack of female cranial rectomatous causing the interruption. 6 works fine for me, and I will be ready. I want you to know that I will be trying my damnedest to correct my mistakes from back then." She gave me her address, and I made a very simple game hen and mushroom rice recipe that I found. The rice stuffing and a game hen each was a complete meal. The date went well. We dated until my transfer started. Kate had about 5 more weeks of classes, so we alternated weekends. One week I would come to her, and the next she would stay at her parents' house. After school was finished for the year, Kate went to a continuing education class at the local college and stayed with her parents. My parents decided that they wanted to move to the ocean because Dad was retired. They wanted to give me their house, but because of the tax burden it would put on me, I suggested that I rent it until they are both gone. Then, if they still feel that way, they can leave it to me and not have a taxable event. They decided on a rent that was about 40% of what they could get from someone else who was not family. They agreed to come and visit often and said the rent would pay for the plane tickets. Kate and I dated for about 4 months. It was almost 4 nights a week, as well as Saturday afternoons and Sunday church. Kate's parents and I alternated Sunday dinners. They were amused that I could cook. They were also impressed with my personal habits. When I explained that I was renting this place, and I felt an obligation to keep it up as I was only using it, they were pleased and said so. I added that the military showed me that while cleanliness was not next to godliness, it made the sergeants very happy. I did not mention that the owners were my parents. At Christmas of that year, I asked Kate to marry me, and she said yes. We were married in Kate's church. A couple of Army buddies that I reconnected with through the outreach program stood up with me. We had a simple but delayed honeymoon. It did not occur until the school year was over. We went to a cabin in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Kate wanted to hold off on starting a family, and I did not have a problem with it, but Murphy did. Kate got the flu, and something with the drugs messed up her BC pills. She got pregnant after a year of marriage. The timing was a couple of years early, but at least the baby would be born after the school year was over. John was born in late July. In spite of him not being planned, he was loved. Candy was planned and was born in mid-June, almost 2 years later. She was healthy, but the doctor noticed something with Kate and warned her not to get pregnant again. I got snipped, and that took care of that problem. Kate had not been working as a teacher, but had kept up with her CE credits, so when the kids were in school for a full day, she went back to work. I was continuing up the hierarchy and was now an assistant vice president. My salary, bonuses, and stock options made us well off, and Kate was putting her salary into college funds for the kids. I promised her that I would continue the same or a larger amount if she decided to stop teaching. We managed all of the typical marriage and family crises. Skinned knees, stubbed toes, bee stings, an attack of poison ivy, John broke his arm, Candy was bullied at school one year. The worst crisis was when Candy was 10 and got sick and was hospitalized for almost 2 weeks. She had a scratch that got infected. The bug was an MRSA. The doctors told us we were very close to losing her. My wuss factor came in when it came to letting Kate have the final say in about 95% of the family decisions. She was, until asshole, very level-headed, and actually had harsher parental restrictions on the kids than I would have. She was not cruel or abusive, but the punishment was not something the kids could talk their way out of. Then along came the asshole and the in-your-face attitude of Kate. I really did not have a clue that we were having any problems. Then out of the blue, the sex disappeared into a black hole and the house became a battle zone. Kate did not realize that her confession was not a real surprise. The kids had told me of meeting Mom's friend, Mr. Simmons, and of Candy's reaction. I immediately had an investigator start keeping track of Kate. I had video, still photos, audio recordings, and a written report detailing times and places. There was no video or pictures of them being intimate, but the audio made it clear what was happening. On the date of her confession, I did not tell her of this evidence. I finally relented and let Kate take one of the cars as long as the asshole never got in it. She went to her parents' house to stay. I had the investigator continue to track Kate and Jack. It seems that once Kate told Jack that I had kicked her out, he laughed at her and said his revenge on both of us was complete. He told Kate, "I only pursued you because you married Gary. You're a terrible partner. I get more pleasure from my right hand." That was the last time Jack saw Kate. It seems that the day after the investigator's weekly report of that conversation, 3 men beat Jack with steel batons and put him in the hospital. They told him that he was being punished for messing with a married woman and warned him to leave town. When released from the hospital, he disappeared. Kate tried to fight the divorce and refused to surrender custody. Well, I turned over all of the investigator's evidence, and the kids told of meeting her lover. The judge was not pleased. He informed Kate that if she did not voluntarily surrender custody, he would have her arrested for adultery. He went on to explain to her that in our state, adultery was a Class D felony, and she could be sentenced to 1 year and a day in prison. Also, if convicted, she would be banned from teaching forever. She caved. I asked the judge to allow visiting rights and court-approved trips with kids as long as she did not take them out of school or out of the state, and that the kids agreed. John stood up and told the judge, "It will be a cold day in hell before I will go anywhere with my used-to-be mother." Candy told the judge that she would go only if John went, so that put paid to and mother-child vacations. The divorce was granted, and Kate would only visit the kids at her parents' house. About 1 year after the divorce, Kate took a teaching job overseas, and we never heard from her again. I found an old friend, Laura, who had also moved up the corporate food chain, and when it was decided that I needed a personal assistant, she was my choice. She had never married. She found out that Rob was also engaged to a girl from his hometown and had gotten her pregnant. I had been very specific about Laura's personal life, as I had met her before I became her superior. I told the board that I did not want to have hire or fire or promotion control over her. I also insisted that the non-frat could not be used against us, as we had been friends for more than 16 years. I promised that at work we would be all business, and if there ever was a complaint from Laura about my behavior, I was the one to be disciplined, not her. One night about 18 months after my divorce was final, I asked Laura if she would have dinner with me away from work. She agreed. She told me the story of her broken engagement. She knew my marriage history. We went on to date for 8 months. I popped the question, and she said yes. We are now planning a wedding after John and Candy are out of school for the summer. John and Candy are both AP class seniors, as Candy was jumped 1 year. Laura and I decided that if they wanted, we would all 4 honeymoon in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They agreed. I am no longer a wuss. Now, when Laura puts her foot down, I make sure my foot is out of the way. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.